Yo, yo, yo. Hello, Twitch. Hello, YouTube. This is your boy, Corey the Man. We're back in here. Yeah, man. This gonna be the last it's gonna be the last video we do today, y'all. Appreciate y'all for watching. I think we ready to get right into it. Let's get it, y'all. Here we go. Yeah, fuck it.
1, 2, is this on?
Card subject to change is a given in wrestling, due to how quickly plans can shift.
Vince made the call to not only put Lesnar in the match, but have Lesnar win the championship, give people, something big, a title change because they weren't getting Roman Reigns, the big star on the show.
Injuries and illnesses might cause a match to switch participants at the last minute, including when a title is on the line.
When I got the television championship, it was because Rick Martel had forgot his boots. He forgot his boots and he was supposed to win the championship that night.
For this video, we'll be covering matches where late replacements not only emerge victorious, but also left with the championship.
I wasn't even booked for the show. Somebody came up with the idea, like, hey, Brian's here. What if we put the title on Brian? And then it became what the thing was. That was never the plan.
Today, we list 10 wrestlers winning titles in
there's
matches
a whole lot
they
of
originally weren't
where it
booked in.
wasn't
I
the
would pretty
plan.
much say most of the locker room at
Was
that
like,
time really thought it was the wrong move.
Archer.
Matter of fact, a lot of people.
He won when
probably charged
Shinsuke didn't kick out.
Following his ascent in
Sheamus
2011,
won
in 5
when,
years, Zack
Cena
Ryder
fell through the
fallen
table.
considerably, to where anytime he wrestled, everyone was
Mickey James
expecting him
won
to
when
lose. However, an
won-
injury and fortuitous
Oh, I
timing
forgot.
meant Ryder
Oh.
finally got his big
Was that
WrestleMania moment.
Melina?
To set the scene, Neville fractured
I
his
don't know.
ankle 3
It
weeks
could've
out
been
from the
either
show
or.
of shows. This resulted in him being taken out of the Intercontinental Championship ladder match. Realizing the potential opportunity, Zack lobbied to replace Neville. Ryder pleaded his case to produce a Road Dogg.
Not only pitched to be in the match, but spilled my guts, why I felt like I earned it, why I deserved it. And one of the lines I said, and this wasn't like a rehearsed line, it just came out like from the bottom of my heart. I said, I've never heard my music play at WrestleMania. And then he later told me that line is what made him go to bat for me. And I got added into the match.
Also, during this time, Vince McMahon was impressed with Zack's performance during a random C-Show match.
I was doing one of the shows before Raw. This is where Always Ready comes into play. Was in great shape, had a great match. I don't even remember who it was against. And the next day, in the production meeting before SmackDown, Vince McMahon said, why aren't we doing something with this guy?
A week or two before WrestleMania, The Miz was told he would be going over, though this was changed just as quick to Ryder winning. And once this finally happened, it was an incredible moment as the underdog shocked everyone. Zack dropped the belt the next night to Miz, which upset some fans due to how big Ryder's victory was.
Miz, skull-crushing finale. Zack was distracted. Miz hooks the leg. Miz is a 5-time Intercontinental Champion.
Zack, however,
won it.
contends that losing the title straight away only made his WrestleMania triumph more special.
They wanted a surprise shock value to start the show. And luckily I was that guy, that underdog,
Daniel Bryan is another who triumphed in a ladder match he wasn't originally scheduled to win. In 2011, Wade Barrett was going to be the victor in the world title Money in the Bank match. However, an hour before the show, longtime booker Pat Patterson convinced McMahon to go with Bryan instead. Patterson's idea was that Daniel would win the briefcase and from there lose most of his matches, before eventually cashing in at WrestleMania 28. Speaking to Inside the Ropes, Barrett explained the situation.
He's going to do it the right way and he's going to announce it and he's going to go all the way to WrestleMania. And what a great story it is about overcoming the odds and the underdog and the unlikely hero. And Vince buys it. Vince likes the idea. And there we go. So Daniel was given the Money in the Bank briefcase because of that. And it was given to Daniel because of this storyline that Vince bought into. And it's really indicative of Vince's kind of mindset, how quickly he changes his mind on things that, within 2 or 3 months later, Daniel was now a heel and that story had been forgotten about.
Whether it was going to be at Mania or not, the long-term plan was for Bryan to cash in and win gold. However, TLC 2011 hadn't been earmarked as the occasion though. On the night, Bryan wasn't necessarily a replacement for anyone, but he was added to a bout he hadn't initially been booked for. Bryan wasn't even supposed to be at the show since he didn't have a match. Nevertheless, Daniel swooped in to steal the World Championship from Big Show after the Giant had just won it against Mark Henry.
This World Heavyweight Championship opportunity.
Yeah, as soon
Henry
as
was
he
hurt
won
at
it,
the time,
he
so the
just
company
turned
wanted to
over.
get the belt off him in case his injury got worse, though he kept working for the next few months while feuding with Daniel. Bryan told the whole story on an episode of Unscripted with Josh Mansour.
I wasn't even booked for the show, but they had me do an autograph signing at a Walmart in the Baltimore area, and Bree was at the show, and so we were dating at the time. Somebody came up with the idea, like, hey, Brian's here. What if we put the title on Brian? And then it became what the thing was. That was never the plan.
In May 2003, Los Guerreros were being pushed to win the tag team championships on SmackDown during an entertaining feud with Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin. However, just before it came time to switch the belts at the Judgment Day pay-per-view, Chavo Guerrero tore his bicep, which would keep him out of action for 4 months. Given that the title change was going to happen the next week, WWE simply inserted Tajiri in Chavo's spot. Therefore, he and Eddie became the champions. A day before the show, road agent Dean Malenko officially told Tajiri about the change, saying the Japanese buzzsaw would be fired if he had a bad match. Though this may have been a rib, Eddie had requested Tajiri to be his partner. Vince agreed as the chairman had been impressed with the Japanese star's recent performances.
The family tradition of Los Guerreros.
We lie, we cheat, we steal ass.
You have Latino shit. I have
I never knew he was like that when he started. Oh, he was all kicks.
When we fight, but when we tag team, good camera.
Fans may have been expecting Haas and Benjamin to simply keep the belts until Chavo was healthy again, but as we've seen on this list, anytime a late replacement is drafted in, they usually win the match and thus leave with the gold. Tajiri and Eddie held the title for 6 weeks, and when Chavo returned in September, he and Latino Heat immediately beat Haas and Benjamin for the straps. We've looked mostly at injuries so far, but next we'll show you what happens when a wrestler doesn't have their ring gear. This was the position Rick Martel found himself in, ahead of the December 29th, 1997 Nitro. That night, Martel had been poised to defeat Disco Inferno for the television title. The problem was WCW's brass were late informing Rick of these plans, meaning he had no time to go home, get his gear, and then make the show.
You know, it's just, look, there's no way I have time to go to Quebec, get my gear. You know, just get on the plane and come here. So I don't know if they have plans to give me somebody else's gear or whatever. But yeah, that night I came in, I had no wrestling gear, but they knew about it because I didn't have time.
Martel got on a plane anyway, but once he got to the arena, it was decided that Booker T would win the TV championship instead.
When I got the television championship, it was because Rick Martel had forgot his boots. He forgot his boots, and he was supposed to win the championship that night.
Whose side are you going to be on when that happens?
WCW, no doubt in my mind.
Booker T, cover 1, 2, and...
Rick eventually pinned Book for the strap a month later, but had to drop the belt back again the next week because Martel suffered an injury in their match at Super Brawl 98. Rick was supposed to defeat Booker and then defend the title against Perry Saturn straight away. However, mid-match, Rick tore ligaments in his knee, meaning he was too hurt to continue and subsequently wrestle immediately after.
So it's a small ring, so you should just do 1 step and right away. So he goes 2 step and he throws me. And this, you know, of course, he threw me into the ropes. So when I landed in the ropes on top of that are so tight, my knee just went, you know.
Very, very hard. Once again, acknowledging the fans here, and that's not a bad thing to do, but sometimes
Therefore, the champion called an audible, resulting in Booker winning so he could go on and face Saturn. Originally, Martel was meant to retain against Perry as well, but because of the injury, Booker T again won the television championship when he wasn't supposed to.
Standing on his feet, Harlem sidekick, and knocked him down. 1, 2, 3, baby. Wow, what a recovery!
Let's take a break from injury examples to look at a cruel storyline reason for a late title switch. This occurred at Unforgiven 2008, where CM Punk was due to defend his World Heavyweight title in a championship scramble match. On the pay-per-view, the champ was punted in the head by Randy Orton, which took Punk out of the match.
Oh my God! Oh my good Lord! Oh my God!
Now,
Or just
that right there!
This wasn't told to Punk until the day of the show. McMahon decided the hot feud between Chris Jericho and Shawn Michaels needed the World Championship. As such, at Unforgiven, Jericho took Punk's place and the title.
What? What in the...
Punk had been booked as an inconsequential mid-carder as champion, so dropping the belt in this manner was true to form of how poor his reign was. Agents such as Michael Hayes criticized Punk for the reign, rather than the booking.
I would pretty much say most of the locker room at that time really thought it was the wrong move. Matter of fact, a lot of people thought he tarnished the championship.
So it's possible people like him were in Vince's ear, saying to take the belt off the Second City Saint.
We're going to give this to you, and you're not really going to be the guy, and you're not going to be the featured guy, and you're not going to be opening segment or last segment. You're going to kind of be the guy that has the title in the middle of the card somewhere. It's really not, we're not really changing your position. We're just giving you this to hold for a little bit and then taking it away.
As we've seen, a general rule of thumb in wrestling is that if there must be a replacement, they should be equal to or exceed the original participant. Either that or be something completely different and an unexpected shock to the fans. This was the case at Survivor Series 1999. To set the scene, it had become clear that Stone Cold Steve Austin was hurt and required neck surgery. However, given his stardom, he was kept around and even continued to wrestle. The company waited till the pay-per-view so they could write Austin off via a hit and run. This was despite the Federation advertising Steve in a triple threat for the WWF title featuring The Rock and Triple H. The advertised main event would have seen the three biggest stars of the Attitude Era wrestle for the first and only time in a three-way together, but because of Stone Cold's condition, he was replaced by Big Show, which fans learned about during the entrances.
If you do have to cancel someone, you have a cancellation, you've got a card subject to change type situation, what's the rule of thumb about the replacement?
You always make it better than the original. You always replace with something better.
And that's really hard here, because what's better than
hottest
Steve
attraction
Austin?
in the industry.
How important was it when Vince was looking at what can we do that would come up with something no one can call?
I think it was more of an overall approach of it's got to be different than Austin, and it has to be an acceptable replacement. Although, again, what's acceptable to the biggest attraction in the business? So if it's not acceptable, then make it drastically different. The philosophy was give them something completely new and that they didn't expect, and nobody's going to call that. And now you can create a new story with Big Show involved in it.
Show shockingly captured the goal as Triple H's rival Vince McMahon helped the Giant win to set up the game and the chairman wrestling the next month.
Show with a toe slam. No, I can't believe it.
Once Hunter was done with Vince, he regained the World Wrestling Federation title by ending Show's 50-day reign. Another time, WWE waited a while before announcing a replacement for a big championship encounter occurred at WrestleMania 36. This show was thrown into disarray due to the global pandemic, which forced the event to go ahead in a warehouse without fans. It also meant various matches had to be changed, including the Universal Championship clash between Goldberg and Roman Reigns. Roman had been penciled in to win until taking a hiatus as a way of keeping himself and his family safe during such difficult times.
My children, we just had two newborn twin boys.
There's one area that I'm not going to make that sacrifice. I will sacrifice my career. I'll sacrifice the performance. Hell, I'll sacrifice the audience if I have to protect my family. I'll quit. I will hang up the boots.
The challenger backing out of Mania had been speculated for weeks before WWE finally announced Braun Strowman as Roman's substitute a day before the show aired. Keep in mind the event was broadcast on an 8-day tape delay, so an earlier announcement could have easily been made. However, Strowman defeated Goldberg for the Universal title in quick fashion.
Emphatic running power slam. Here's the cover. Hook to the leg. And after 4.
Braun spoke about the match during an interview with Chris Van Vliet, in which the Monster Among Men noted how Goldberg pushed for Braun to destroy him.
So, unfortunate circumstances with everything going on with the pandemic and what happened, he wanted me. So he picked me to do that and do the honors and pass that torch. He said, I can count on one hand how many people that I would do this for, and I still have 3 fingers left.
When Reigns returned that summer, he was instantly given the belt while feuding with Strowman. Roman felt the effects of the pandemic at the start of 2022. The Universal Champ had been scheduled to defend his belt against Brock Lesnar at the Day 1 event. That was until Reigns had to pull out of the show due to illness. To counteract this, WWE inserted Brock into the WWE Championship 4-Way, a bout in which Seth Rollins was speculated to be the winner. However, now because Lesnar was involved, the company decided he should get the win to set up a winner-take-all champion vs. champion showdown against Roman at WrestleMania 38.
Vince made the call to not only put Lesnar in the match, but have Lesnar win the championship, give people, something big, a title change because they weren't getting Roman Reigns, the big star on the show. So Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar are the 2 biggest stars in the company, and nobody else is competitive with them. So they just destroy everyone, and that's that, leading to their big match.
And an F5 reversed. That's it.
It's not known for certain what the original plan for the WWE title was, since the rumored winner Seth
was his
ended up
last
wrestling
match,
the
that would have
returning
been
Cody
much
Rhodes
better
at
than the
Mania.
tag
Our
match
final
he
2
had.
entries featured the Ultimate Opportunist, Edge. This is a fitting nickname, given how often he's pounced on title opportunities over the years, so much so that Edge has been scripted to win numerous titles after real injuries have occurred. In May 2007, Mr. Kennedy was scheduled to defeat a legitimately hurt Undertaker for the World Heavyweight Championship. Right before this had happened, Kennedy himself came down with an injury, which would apparently keep him out indefinitely, but he only ended up missing 8 weeks.
What we're going to do is we're going to have him in this cage match. He's going to barely squeak out alive. then somebody else is going to come out, beat him up some more, and then you're going to come out and cash in your Money in the Bank briefcase, and you're going to be the new champion. Then the next time I took a bump, boom, I feel something pop in my triceps. Steph calls my phone. She says, you tore your triceps off the bone. You're going to be out for eight or 9 months. Unfortunately, we still need to get that title off of Taker. Edge challenged me for my briefcase. He came out and jumped me before the match, rolled me in the ring, rang the bell, ding, 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 spear, 1, 2, 3.
Look at this! Oh, wait a minute! Ray said wait a minute! It's over!
I gave it to him, and then the next day, I flew down to Birmingham, Alabama. They did another MRI. For sure, it was just like some blood vessels that had popped in my arm. So I was out 5 or 6 weeks.
That sick piranha! He's a piranha that could be our next world champion! Not this way! Not this way! Damn it!
A year and a half later, Edge seized another title opportunity at the 11th hour, but this time the storyline was way more convoluted. Previously, the Rated R Superstar had been written off TV by The Undertaker at SummerSlam 2008. This meant the WWE title picture on SmackDown consisted of the champion Triple H, the red-hot Jeff Hardy, and Vladimir Kozlov. A triple threat had been penciled in for Survivor Series, but on the day of the show, it was revealed on WWE.com that Jeff had been found unconscious in a hotel. This was a controversial angle given Hardy's past substance issues. Plus, the way this was reported by WWE had fans initially thinking it was legit. Jeff's absence now meant the game had to work Kozlov in a singles match. A bout that had been stinking out arenas on the house show circuit.
The rumor was that the match was supposed to be a singles match with Kozlov challenging Triple H, but the matches that they had at house shows prior was so bad they made it a 3-way. Could this be true?
Those matches sucked.
At the pay-per-view, Hunter sogged it out with Vladimir for 12 minutes before Vicky Guerrero added her returning husband to the mix.
Was that Vladimir?
Ladies and gentlemen, he's here! He's here! Here he is! You think you know me?
The Rated R Superstar would pick up the victory thanks to an inadvertent chair shot on Triple H by interfering Jeff Hardy. Reports online suggest the decision to include Edge was made late. Other sources state he was always intended as a backup option. Apparently plans changed more than once on the day, and Vince couldn't decide on a finish, so came up with Hardy getting taken out and Edge returning as an unexpected shot. As it turns out, Jeff's brother Matt was the one responsible for attacking the charismatic Enigma before Survivor Series. Originally this was supposed to be Christian, but WWE held off on his return until February. Now if you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out our similar video on 10 WWE wrestlers who risked their spot to put others over. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.
Alright. Thank y'all for watching. I'm going to see y'all in the next one. Y'all stay tuned.